Friends, greetings and salutations. I hope everyone's doing well. Happy 4th of July. Hopefully everyone's still got their fingers and hands here. Let's talk about Big Bear a little bit more. Let's talk about Palantir. I mean, what a week. What a freaking week we had. I mean, this is what the past 2 weeks have been crazy. But, Big Bear obviously this week has just, made people so much money. Palantir has made people a lot of money just in a short amount of time here. And Palantir, I think, is about to blow up even more. I think we're about to go into the second realm of heaven here from what we've seen. So let's dig into it and look at this thing. This is going around on places right now, but where you got Nancy Pelosi saying to buy BBAI, Big Bear. Boy, if that happens, I'm taking out the biggest loan the bank will give me, and I'm putting it all on Big Bear, because at that point we know it is a golden ticket to paradise. Friends, let's talk. So I hope everyone's well. If you're new, old, been here, welcome. I am very much into this theory that the next 5 to 10 years of investing are going to be life-changing for a lot of people, and technology, security, defense are going to be this one huge sector of the market that is going to grow spectacularly. I didn't say that right. It's going to be big. Okay, it's going to be big over the next 4 years while T-Pain is in office here. So, and here's the situation. The bill passed last night. The bill passed, and so now, what does that mean? That means that the defense money is pretty much going to go through here, and we might slowly, maybe faster, start to see more things happen. Trump's Golden Dome, that's going over, all of North America here, United States, Canada, a lot of things attached to that. I mean, more just defense in general. So, this is the thing too, Dan Ives, if you know me, I'm very much in following to what Dan Ives says. Dan Ives, Dan Ives is in the thick of it, man. He's in Wall Street. He's shaking hands with big money. He's seeing what's going on. And Dan Ives is one of these people that believes that, 100% that Palantir is going to be $1 trillion market cap before we know it. And he believes that software and security are the two of the biggest growing sectors in the market right now. And, I think too, kind of what I see over on the market right now is even when we talk about AI and software, whether it's Meta, Tesla, from Palantir, it always leads to this one thing: defense, security. Because at the end of the day, it's who's got the best AI. And it really just boils down to, it's all going to go to the same thing: defense, security. That's really the main thing here. So that's why AI is so sought after right now. I mean, it's literally, we're all chipping away here trying to get as much as we can of, a lot of these companies. So Palantir has already pretty much been a golden ticket here for a lot of people. And I still think that golden ticket has got a lot more to show us here through the factory. Willy Wonka's chocolate factory here. I think there's still a lot more to go. But two, you look over here, and now we've got Big Bear. And Big Bear, the last 8 months have been spectacular. They've been crazy. And right now we're in the thick of it. We are in this amazing situation. So let's talk about Palantir first. So Palantir here, we're going into Q2. August is obviously towards the end of pretty much the end of July, going into the very beginning of August. We're going to see a lot of companies start to report quarterly. So this is going to be a moment in the market as well. Now, July has already proven to be going pretty good here. We're going to see how this continues. Palantir especially here, we are entering into this situation of where here we go again with quarterlies. Is this quarterly going to be another 40, 45, 48, 50% on top of the last quarterly that they just had? I think it's pretty safe to say that Palantir is going to hit $1 billion quarterly here. That's coming sooner than later. And we could be in the situation where Palantir just could leapfrog. Like, in here, the situation of it is that since Q1 for 2025 here, which was another great quarterly by Palantir, they've been getting more deals. Like, it hasn't stopped. They've been getting more deals, more partnerships. And I think there's things too that have been happening inside Palantir that we may not know about, deal-wise, money-wise, what's been going on. So, kind of like when Robinhood, just a moment ago came out with that $1 billion quarterly, where it just went from 600 million, 700 million to boom, $1 billion quarterly, and everybody went, holy freaking smokes. you might see, and obviously these are two different companies, so for the person writing the comment like, "Arr," I get it. What I'm trying to say is this might be a sneaky quarterly here. This might be a quarterly where it goes like, oh, by the way, here's the billion. Or maybe just, hey, here's $950 million quarterly, which still is amazing. And we're that much closer to $1 billion quarterly. So the good part about this is, and the moment that you should celebrate and party is that you as an investor are still able to buy Palantir under $1 billion quarterly before it starts releasing $1 billion quarterlies. And it may just be 30 days, who knows. But the situation of it is, this is probably the last year. This is definitely the last year where, 2025, where Palantir will be releasing $1 billion quarterlies. Okay, it's just it just is what it is. So with that, I think probably sooner than we think here in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we probably will see Palantir go to 150. I don't think that's that crazy. When I say 150 at this point, with everything we've been through, Palantir just 2 weeks ago was at, $2 away from $150, less than that, honestly, if you really break it down. I don't think anybody's going like, dude, there's no way it's going to 150. I think it's pretty safe to say we're going to 150. The question is, anything over 150, that's where I really go like, well, where's the wall before the quarterly? Obviously there's going to be a push up here. And the fact that the new low right now for Palantir is like in this, 130 and some change zone. I mean, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. So I do think that Palantir has 100%, it's built this road into, future quarterlies. And this has been the situation with investors in Palantir since, a year and a half ago, where we've just been chasing Palantir. I've still been chasing Palantir. I've been buying Palantir since it was $7, but different positions of it. I said this a few days ago where I was like, hey, I started, there is another position that I just buy Palantir in because it's just like a backup account of Palantir, because I still think, and I'm on record for saying this, and I'll eat crow if I'm wrong about this, but I think Palantir is going to close out the year at $180 to $200. I think it's going to happen here. I just think it's going to happen. So with that, but too, that's short term for me. What I really think is going to happen here, I think that Trump is going to continue to do what he says. He's going to spend a lot of money on defense. The bill has passed. There might be even another bill for defense. I mean, we don't know where else. It's only been January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Here we are. We've still got 3 years and some months here. That Trump can spend a lot more money on different things, defense. So with that, Palantir is in the thick of it, man. They are in the White House. They are in the defense. They are, you could not ask for a more juicy situation of what is going on right now with Palantir and this administration. Not to mention that Palantir, they're not just relying on this administration for money. They have branched out. They have been sought after by companies besides, our government. So that's where a lot of this other extra money is really piling up right now. So that's why I say like, hey, we don't know what else has been going on here with, other, money that's been going into Palantir. So this is why quarterlies could be a little sneaky here. That's short term. Short term for me is like at the end of the year. I think we're going to be at like 180 to 200. And a lot of that's going to be FOMO. A lot of that's going to be, we're catching up to what the price is. Who knows where the quarterlies will be by December of this year. That's another thing. Long term, imagine if Palantir continues on this growth spurt. Imagine that. It's a situation of where I think, 3 years ago, I think a lot of people went, Palantir's this, because I remember the rhetoric, I remember talking about Palantir like 3 years ago, and I was just a little bitty YouTube channel. I still am compared to a lot of people out there. But I remember a lot of it was just like, it's just this unique little AI company with some software. They've been doing good on quarterlies, but they're not even making $500 million in quarterlies. Why? I'm not going to waste my time in this. It's, it's struggled. It was a $20 stock. Now it's a, $7 stock. But, now we're not just looking at Palantir as this, AI software company. Now a lot of people are like, this is a defense company. This is a company that's really mixed into some very heavy stuff right now. I don't know how much people really pay attention to like Alex Karp and what's going on with, the broader view of, people probably not in trading, but Palantir takes a lot of crap. I mean, they get protested all the time. There's an interview out there that did not happen that long ago where Alex Karp was being yelled at on stage because, they're pretty much looked at like this war company right now because they're so wrapped up in defense and what's going on. So a lot of people do look at Palantir as like this thing out there. But with that too, there's an argument. Well, they kind of are. They are and they aren't, okay? I mean, they're not making bombs. They're just, software, what they do, and what they're helping our government for. I say all that to say, listen, I'm not talking about politics, for God's sakes. No one wants to hear me yap about politics. I am in no shape or form with the mindset to do that. What I will say is that Palantir, as an investment, and still so young in such at this stage of ripening into maybe what it's going to be here in the next 5 years, we haven't even talked about stock split. It hasn't even turned to $1 trillion market cap yet. It hasn't even released $1 billion market cap yet, $1 billion quarterly yet. So there's still so much to come here with what it's going to offer. And, I do think that AI is going into the next realm. When Dan I says that, we are entering into this, we're in the beginning stages of AI, software, what tech, it's all one thing essentially, but, breaking it down individually, we're at the beginning of it. We're right at the beginning of it. So you as an investor get to take your $5, $500, $100, whatever it may be, weekly, monthly, whatever you can do. You get to be a part of that. Is that not the coolest thing in the world? I mean, you get to be a part of what's going on right now. Listen, I've said this time and time again, but 5 years ago, people thought NVIDIA was kind of like at the top of their game. They're like, well, they're already making $10 billion a quarterly. They can't possibly make more than $10 billion a quarterly. I mean, look at what's been happening here in the past 2 years. I mean, we're talking stock split. Now we're talking, they're saying NVIDIA may never miss a quarterly for the next 10 years, a decade. And they're making $40 billion quarterlies at this point. Freaking nuts what's happening. Sometimes things are just good. It's okay. It's okay just to go, this is just a good situation. This is everything's right about it. It's that simple. It is that simple. It just is what it is. I really don't know. People, I think too, when people get hurt in the market, and I get it, man. I've been hurt in the market. Trust me, there's things that I've put my money in where I'm like, why is this not working? There's plenty of stocks out there that are doing well. They're good companies. They're just not moving. They're just not attractive to investors. And that's one part of investing. Stocks have to hit all these cylinders to really get investors' attention, man, to really move. And Palantir's hitting all those cylinders, plus it's making some new cylinders. So I say all that to say, like, I believe 100% that Palantir is going to be this thing that we can't even really imagine what it's going to be in the future. I'm not saying it's going to be the next NVIDIA, but I'm saying it's definitely going to be this company, this stock that is going to, you at least want 10 shares of this stuff within the next year. At least try to get as much Palantir as you possibly can, because, my short term, which just at the end of the year, like I said, I think it's going to be $200. That's why I'm not looking at a candlestick chart. I'm not looking at this chart going like, well, if we get a little more volume here, I think we'll push back up in 140. I think we're going to be at 150, 60 here within the next 2-3 weeks. And then once that quarterly comes out, then we're going to start shipping away at 160 to I think that's what's going to happen here. Like, am I alone here? I don't think I'm alone. I think a lot of people are going like, yeah, I'm not betting against Palantir anymore. It's too hot of a stock right now. And that's a lot of what's making the price so hot right now. Is Palantir too expensive? Absolutely, it's too expensive for what it is as a stock price compared to what it's bringing in, compared to the market cap. 100%. I'm not disagreeing with you on that. But what I'm saying here is that it's the expectations, it's the future, it's that they keep compounding on quarterlies, it's that they're in this moment of the market, of what the market's wanting, what it's looking for. They're working with the people that are printing the biggest checks right now. So it's got all of the right stuff with it, man. I will not bet against Palantir at this point. I just won't. I'm not going to do it. I think they're going to really, really get into some heavy earnings here where we're just going to be like, this is one of the most craziest things we've ever seen. And I think too, we've already seen the tidbit of the picture that's being laid out before us as investors, where last year was very shocking for a lot of investors. It was very shocking because we didn't know that tech stocks, chip stocks in general, could make as much money as they made. We didn't know that there was so much money for these companies individually to make. Does that make sense? So imagine now you have this new thing in the market, Palantir, we'll throw in BigBear, software companies in general, security companies, maybe strictly military defense companies, strictly just 100% those. We may be shocked again this year going into 2026 of how much money these companies can make. Listen, you've got a guy right now at the helm of the wheel who is wanting to spend money on one big particular thing here. I can't talk tonight. It's defense. It's Trump in defense. That's where he's wanting to put a lot of money, and he's doing it. So as an investor, it is my job, it is my duty. If I want to do well in this market, I have to look at where the money's going. That's where the money's going. So I'm going to be a part of it. Yeah, sure. I can go and put my money in Walmart. I can go put my money in Home Depot. It'll grow. But if I want heavy gains, I know where I got to go. So friends, Palantir, I think Palantir 100% is in this such growth stage right now to where God knows where we're going to be in 6 months. I mean, who knows what Palantir is going to be at 6 months? It's crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. All right, let's talk about baby Big Bear here. Our sweet little baby Big Bear that's growing up. It's growing up so fast. This was a $3 and some change stock 3 weeks ago, and I was on here yapping my mouth like, I think it's gonna move. Now, we are at the situation of where, okay, much of the conversation that I just spewed out about Palantir, a lot of it is very similar to what is happening to Big Bear, okay? Big Bear it could not be in a better position. I mean, Big Bear itself has found itself on this lottery ticket train ride right now. And we as investors, we get to be a part of that. That's kind of what's happening here. So, like I've said, you have this huge bill that just passed. There's a huge portion in this bill that it has defense in it. Big Bear already having defense contracts with our United States government. Plus, it's been getting some other deals here. It's been getting these nice deals with airlines. It's probably going to continue. Big Bear's been paying off debt. The last quarterly that came out, it was a lot better than expected. We could see this next quarterly really show some compounding to where, hey, we might actually at least 2% beat the quarterly that's expected. Great. So right now, we're in this situation of where it's a feeding frenzy. It is a feeding frenzy what is going on right now with Big Bear, and it might continue. I'm here to tell you. So, yesterday, it's Friday, it's 4th of July. Once again, happy 4th. We find ourselves what's coming here this Monday, and I go, this Monday might get a little crazy in the market. Hey man, we left this week in the market with job reports really good. The bill passed here. If we don't get bad news over the weekend, if something doesn't trigger the market to sell off, we might go into Monday, Tuesday in the market like, holy smokes, the market might be flying here. So we might go into Big Bear here, and obviously this is we're all wishing here, we're all hoping, but Big Bear might start chopping away at some new staircases in the, some higher 8, 9, double-digit $10 position. I like that Big Bear is moving slower. It's moving slower than what it has, but this is good. I think it's fast, but I know a lot of people are like, why is it not $10 yet? Why is it not at $15 yet? This is good. Listen, you want slow moving. Big Bear's doing, and I said, I don't want to repeat myself too much because I said this, I think last night, but Big Bear's doing this thing where it's just easing along, popping up at open, and then trickling back down, moving back up into a new position, and then holding that. Then pop the next day, hit a new position, sell back down a little bit, but it keeps touching these new positions. We went from $5 to $5.60, and we're like, holy smokes. Then next day, bust into $6, we sold back down to like $5.80. Next day, we shot back into like $6.60, going into $7. This is what's happening. So if this kind of continues here, and obviously I'm realistic, there will come a moment in time where we bottom out with Big Bear here. What's so good about this situation too is that Big Bear, this is good because a lot of shares are being ate up, and I have a strong feeling that a lot of people that are holding $5 shares right now, $4 shares, maybe even $6 shares, they're not going to give them up. For people that are holding positions at $6, $5, $4, $3, $2, I don't know that they're going to give up those shares. So we may be getting into a position where shares are just getting eaten up. Price probably goes up a little more. I think it's pretty safe to say I think Big Bear is probably going to $10, $15 within the next month or so. We've got quarterlies coming in July. July is pretty hot right now. Obviously, we're going to get some tidal waves here and there, but recovery is probably going to be better. I would be willing to say that we're probably going to see some numbers with Big Bear soon enough where we're going to be like, holy freaking smokes, dude, this was crazy. Now, like, I'm kind of scared of how much money is in my account at this point. Like, I don't know what to do. So I think we might be kind of in that situation. But listen, I will say this too, friends. Listen, if you need to take profit, take profit. I don't think Big Bear is going to be in a position where it's going to get away from you. It's not going to $50, $50, $100 here within the next 2-3 weeks. Okay, that's not happening. Unless Big Bear were to get like some kind of crazy deal here for like, $1 billion or something, it could run pretty hot and heavy here. But realistically, from the evidence that we have here, Big Bear's it's a feeding frenzy right now. It's a FOMO. It's people don't want to miss out. You've got day traders in here, you got short traders in here, you got people in here going like, I want to be a part of what's going on right now because I think what I said before, I think security, I think tech, I think, Big Bear and their software is going to be a hot commodity here in the next few years in the market. And I'm just going to buy this, I'm going to leave it in the corner, and I'll be back next year and we'll see what's going on. There's a lot of people doing that. That's okay. But two, really how I look at this year, and I think I've been saying this since November, so you've heard me say this. 2025 here is really the year that I'm looking at for Big Bear to really start chiseling away at this new company. And Big Bear is not a new company. That's not what I'm talking about. But what I'm saying is that this new formation we've seen in Big Bear, this new sculpture that's being chiseled out here with Big Bear, we've got Kevin at the helm now. Kevin's got a military background. He's former friends with Trump administration, all that. They've got they've put a kind of a new top line in here. I don't think it's a coincidence that Big Bear is now getting these defense deals pretty aggressively. There's something going on here. And now, remember what I just said, now that this new bill has passed, listen, we may sound like conspiracy theorists here as investors, but I think too a lot of investing is following the breadcrumbs and being a little bit of an investigator here. The bill just passed. Big Bear's already got defense deals. They've been getting, for some reason, they've been getting defense deals here aggressively the last 8 months. And now you're telling me we're going to spend more money on defense and Big Bear's not going to get any more defense deals? What are we talking? Come on here. I've been in the market for almost a decade here. I find that kind of hard to believe, let's be honest. I would be willing to bet that, Big Bear's probably going to pick up more deals here with the Defense Department alone here. Now, I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know price tags with it. It may, but the good situation of it is so much has already happened with Big Bear. Now, this, for people that just got here to Big Bear, if we just get one more deal that's out in the public where we can see it at just for a measly 20 million, 30 million, 50 million, 500 million would be great, but we'll take what we can get here. It would be fantastic because it would just be kind of the cherry on top of the, cake here, because it would tell us, okay, we're probably more than likely going to execute quarterlies this year. We may close out the year at this point, from what we can see, at 180, 190, 190 million, 200 million would be great for revenue this year. So but all that to say, 2026 might be the year where we see Big Bear turn into a little bit of a vicious little bear here, where it might be going like, make room because I'm a pushing. So, and this is kind of what I was hoping for SoundHound this year, and I haven't seen it yet. And that's not to say like I'm not excited about SoundHound. I'm still keeping my eye on SoundHound 100%. I still love SoundHound. So like anytime I say something negative, somebody comes in like, how dare you? I get it. People are touchy when they have a lot of money wrapped up in something. But I'm probably talking about SoundHound tomorrow or something with some other things. But SoundHound too, it slowed down. The fires kind of went out a little bit, so I'm hoping they pick up the pace here a little bit. They've got quarterlies coming up too, and I think this is going to be pretty much a dead giveaway. If they don't hit these quarterlies, people are going to start getting really impatient. But Big Bear's already been in this moment of making more money than SoundHound. Big Bear's already been in this. Big Bear now, for the past months now, has been in this moment of it's been making more money because it's been getting government contracts. So that's why Big Bear is so much more attractive right now than a lot of these other stocks. Listen, I am obsessed with the stock market. I am obsessed with this whole thing. Okay, that's why I have a YouTube blabbing my mouth. I have been looking for other companies and other stocks that are the software and so cheap right now, trying to buy them, but you're not finding them. What you're finding is Big Bear. You have this very unique, shadowy kind of figure next to Palantir, and they've been getting government contracts, Big Bear. And it's still a very affordable stock to every general investor, whether it's someone with $5 or $100 to spend in the market in 1 week. So that's why everyone's like looking at Big Bear right now. Friends, I think I've talked too much, but listen, I'm excited. I think everyone should be excited. I think this is such a moment in our lives right now. I really do think a lot of us are going to look back in 2025 and be like, that was the year. That was the year that my life changed. That was the year everything changed. And I think 2026 may be even a hotter of a year. Listen, there's still a lot of work to be done with Big Bear. For the person that is going against me right now and saying like they've got debt they need to clean up, they need more money, all this stuff, friend, I get it. I've been spewing that out of my mouth since November. It's been hot here the past 8 months, and it has been a pretty big indication that we're moving in the right direction with Big Bear. Listen, sometimes if you want to make big gains in the market, you gotta take risk. You gotta take some huge risk. And right now, I think a lot of us have been taking risk with Big Bear, and we're gonna continue to take some risk with Big Bear. Listen, within the next 2 weeks, if Big Bear were to sell off to $4, what do you think would happen? I guarantee you, you would see an inflow of money come into Big Bear at this point where it would start shooting back up and we would find a new pillar. Maybe the new pillar, maybe it is $5. Maybe it's $6. I'm okay with that. I think a lot of people are okay with that because a lot of people have been buying Big Bears since $2, $3, $4, $5. I think people are okay with that. Friends, the long term, I think Big Bear is going to do well here. I think we're seeing some things. I think the market is trying to tell you what's happening here. The market is trying to tell you what's coming future. This bill was a huge, huge clue. I'm going to shut up. Have a great 4th of July. I really do mean that. Spend that with friends and family. Friends, I will be back tomorrow talking, and I just want to say thank you so much for listening to me talk. I really do mean that. This is crazy. I can't believe this stuff is legal, what we do. It just seems almost just unreal. Take care of yourself, friends. Bye-bye.